Hello, my name's Ash and welcome back to a brand new video about Disney Cruise Line. Now this video is the first of a series of videos, of small videos, about working for Disney Cruise Line. Now because I get asked so many questions about working for Disney Cruise Line all the time, I want to try and make some small bite-sized videos on, topics, certain topics that I can cover very clearly and very quickly, that hopefully will give people enough information that they kind of feel relaxed and understand what they're basically going to go into. So each video is going to be based on a single topic, and hopefully there'll be enough information and clear information that will be able to help you get a better understand, at least a rough idea of what life is like on a Disney Cruise Line for crew. Now obviously what I say isn't gospel, and things obviously change and develop all the time on the ship, so I'm going to answer the questions or talk about the topics as best I can, but just take it as a pinch of salt, because things might change by the time you see my video and get on there. I'm hoping that these videos are going to be about 1 to 5 minutes long. Obviously this one is going to be a lot longer because, well, I'm talking a lot, I'm waffling. But I remember when I first worked for Disney Cruise Line, or when I first started the process of working for Disney Cruise Line, trying to find information about actually what it was like to be a crew member was very, very hard, and it kind of adds, doesn't it, to a little bit of stress that you might have. You just want to know some basic stuff about, how you do this or how you do that, or where do you go for this or where do you go for that. And you can't find it. At least back when I started, there wasn't hardly any videos on crew life. And I'm not trying to give you kind of like secret information about Disney Cruise Line, but it's just information that I think would help to know before you came on the ship. And at least would kind of make you feel a bit more relaxed, because some people come onto the ship, they don't really know anything about the ship. And it can be very overwhelming, and people kind of get stressed about it, and it's like, oh, it's not what you expected, and then they kind of leave. At least I want to try and give you some foundation knowledge about stuff so you don't have to worry about it, and then hopefully kind of make you feel more relaxed when you first start and you come on board. So the first topic I want to talk about is laundry and your work costume, and how do you and where do you wash your horrible dirty socks and underwear, because that's an important question. So laundry, I suppose, can be broken into two sections. It can be laundry for your costume, your uniform, or laundry for your personal items. In case you didn't know, your work uniform for Disney when you work for Disney Cruise Line is called a costume. So let's start with costuming. With your costumes, your uniform, you are not responsible for cleaning the uniform, but you are responsible for making sure that your uniform is cleaned and you have enough uniform for your working day. Your costume, your uniform, will be cleaned for you by the laundry department that deals with the laundry. You will drop off your uniform, your costume, it will be cleaned, and then it will be returned to you. Now, depending on what department you work in and how your kind of department does its uniform stuff, you might be assigned uniform that is only worn by you, so nobody else is going to wear that uniform while you're on board the ship. Or you could be getting uniform from a big pool of uniform. Basically, anyone who wears the same size as you, that wears that costume, you all could be sharing it. Now, you could have a mixture, so you could have your tops might be assigned to you, but your trousers and stuff aren't. And it just depends what department you're in, but the principle remains the same. You drop it off, it gets cleaned, it comes back to you. Now, if you have uniform that's just assigned to you that nobody else wears, you have to make sure that you drop that uniform with plenty of time, because it can take 2 days for a uniform to be washed. So if you drop all of your uniform, say on a Monday, but you've got nothing to wear on a Tuesday, you're not going to get your uniform back till Wednesday. You're basically going to cause yourself a little bit of a headache, a little bit of an issue with your managers and the costume department. So you kind of have to be aware of how much uniform you've got, and when you can do laundry and when you can drop it, and when you can pick it up. If you want to do a smell test, do the old smell test. If it smells okay, wear it for another day. That's my rhyme. It's a good rhyme. Remember that. If it smells okay, wear it for another day. But if it's visibly like soiled, what can I say? I can't rhyme soiled. If it's visibly soiled, no. If it's visibly soiled, don't wear it. Get a new one. Let's move on to personal clothing and laundry for that. As you would expect, there is a crew laundry room on the ship. You haven't got to wash your clothes over the side of the ship. It is obviously for crew only, in a crew only area. Basically, a room that has washing machines, dryers, and some ironing boards and some irons. It's pretty basic for what it is, but it works. It's basically what you need it to be. Disney does provide washing powder for your clothes, and that's free of charge. It's normally in like big tubs in front of all the washing machines, and you can kind of just scoop and put it in. Now I generally don't use that, my personal kind of choice. I like to get my own washing pads and dryer sheets, normally from Walmart or wherever you are, just because I think it, you know, it's a nicer smell and it kind of, I don't know. I prefer to use that. I find the washing powder a bit coarse, harsh, strong or whatever, I don't know. But I just like to use that myself. If you want to use Disney's washing powder, use it because it's free. It's there for you to use. Yeah, it's easy. The laundry room is pretty much open, I think, 24 hours. It might be shut for kind of like maintenance and cleaning, which normally kind of that type of stuff normally happens somewhere between 2 and 5 in the morning. So don't quote me on it being open 24 hours, but I'm pretty sure it is very close to 24 hours. And it is, yeah, it's just always running, so you can go and wash your clothes. Now there are peak times, there are very busy times, and you'll learn those times when you get on the ship and you're working. So obviously there's probably about what, over 1,000 crew members. Let's say at least 1,000 crew members. Is more than that. There aren't 1,000 washing machines or dryers. So there are peak times which you'll learn about, and you'll try and fight to get a washing machine. And then you've just got to try and figure out in your own schedule how and when you're going to go and wash your clothes. You have to plan ahead, but you also have to remember to go back and pick your clothes up, because it happens quite a lot. You'll put your clothes in and then you'll go off and do something else and you'll forget about it. But what happens is people will use that washing machine, so they'll take your stuff out and they'll either be nice, you might have a nice crew member who might put it in the tumble dryer above your washing machine and just turn it on, or they might just stick it, which is usually what happens, in a basket, a silver kind of metal basket. They will stick it in there and your clothes will sit there wet until you come back and collect them, or until they air dry in a big clump. So always remember to come back and get your stuff, especially if it's busy. If it's really busy, you will need to come and collect your uniform. There was one time, I always set my alarm for kind of 5 minutes before the end cycle, so I can go back and get my stuff. And I can tell you, I literally walked into the laundry room, my washing machine had just stopped, and I mean just stopped, and this girl had already started. I watched her as I walked in, open my door and take all my stuff out and put it into a grey basket. I was like, it's just stopped. Like, give me a chance. And the annoying thing was there was other washing machines that she could have used. So I don't know. If you don't mind people going for your delicates, then obviously don't worry about when you go back for it. But if you don't want people to touch your delicates and move your own clothes, then make sure you're back. It's the same for the dryer as well. If your stuff's in the dryer and the dryer's done and someone wants to use it, they'll take your stuff out and it will sit there again until you collect it. If you leave it there for too long, and quite a long time, cruise line will dispose of your clothes, so don't leave them there for too long. Mainly, a lot of your washing is going to be your socks and your underwear, maybe some personal towels. That will make up the majority of your laundry, because you're going to spend most of your time in a crew uniform, in a crew costume. So just make sure you've got plenty of underwear and plenty of socks. I always take loads and loads and loads of socks and loads of underwear, so that way I can make sure that I've always got some. That's kind of my top tip: take extra socks and extra underwear. So that brings me to the end of this video, and I do realise that this video is definitely a lot longer than the bite-sized chunks that I aimed out to start with. But hopefully it's been okay. You've got some information. I've tried to cover a lot of information, but very basic. So if you've got more questions, then please let me know below. I'm going to try and do these videos probably every other week with a different topic to help you understand what life is like on board the ship. So thank you for watching. I've been Ash, and until next time, goodbye.